Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video on how not to be bored during maternity leave. Those of you who are watching this who perhaps haven't had your baby yet or who haven't got children, you might be thinking, maternity leave, a year off, it's the absolute dream. But if you've had a baby, you know that maternity leave can actually be quite isolated. Finn is now 1 and I have gone back to work in that I'm working 3 days a week doing freelance marketing. A lot of the time I can do that from home, although if you've got a 1-year-old you'll know that that means that he can't be here. So this also applies if you're a stay-at-home mum to older children and you have to find something to do with your time in the week when everyone else is at work. The first thing is actually before you even have your baby, and that is to go to NCT or birthing classes. So I went to a group of classes called Daisy Birthing, which is kind of like NCT, but it was more of a hypnobirthing based class. I met maybe 10 different couples. Of those 10 couples, initially when the babies were born, I think about 6 of us met up for a coffee, and then that sort of whittled down to now I only ever see really one woman from NCT. Don't think that it's going to be the group of friends that you necessarily meet and stick with forever. So for some people it is. I know that I go to some classes, or I did when Finn was younger, and there'd be a group of NCT girls, of about 7 or 8 NCT girls that met at NCT classes when they were pregnant and now spend loads of time together on maternity leave. So it might be the thing that means that you meet loads of people, or it might just mean that you meet one friend, and that's absolutely fine. That's one more friend than you had before, who is also off at the same time as you, who also has a baby the same age as you, and that is incredibly important. Like if you're freaking out because your baby's not crawling yet, it's so useful to have a friend there that you can just pick up the phone and say, is this normal? Is your baby doing this too? And you've got that resource of reassurance there. So I would definitely recommend going to the classes. They can be a little bit expensive, and I'm not gonna lie, you probably won't learn anything useful in them. Solely for the networking, I would advise going to classes before your baby is born. My next piece of advice is to plan your week. So I always make sure that I am doing something every single day, even if that thing is just go to my local shopping centre to take an item of clothing back, or go to the post office, planning errands. I make sure that I have something that means that I have to leave the house at some point every single day. It's always lovely to take the baby to older relatives that have retired that are off in the week, go to coffee shops, go for walks, plan different events, but make sure that at the start of that week and on Monday, you have something in every single day. I am a massive believer in if in doubt, get out. And if I do not get out every single day with the baby at some point, even if it's just for an hour to go for a walk to the local park because it's a nice day, I go actually stir crazy. The next tip is classes. So there are mixed reviews about classes. Some mums can go totally overboard. When their baby is 4 weeks old, they book into 4 different classes for 6 weeks at a time. It costs an absolute fortune. What I would advise is booking 1 class at a time. I've spoken about this app before, and this is by no means sponsored. I used the Hoop app to book classes. What I didn't want to do was like block book classes and then be stuck with a class that was either not achievable to get out of the house on time, or my baby didn't enjoy, or I didn't really bond with the people there, or I didn't enjoy the class. So what I tend to do is I try the free trial on Hoop, or I book a one-off session on Hoop as a trial. A lot of classes will do that, and if they don't offer that on Hoop, or they don't offer that on their website, if you email them and contact them directly, then they will offer you 9 out of 10 times a free trial. And go to that first class, see if your baby likes it, and if they do, by all means block book a set of 6. So when Finn was tiny, we did baby massage from about 6 weeks old, so I'd say about 4 or 5 months old is the right age until they can start wriggling and rolling. That was a really lovely class, and it was also incredibly useful. They give you amazing techniques that you can then incorporate into your everyday sort of routine at home. We also continue to do water babies, swimming. Swimming again is a really useful class to do in that it's teaching him a skill. He's incredibly comfortable in water now. When we go on holiday, he's comfortable in the pool. I tried to pick classes that actually gave him a skill. We have also tried story time. A lot of libraries have free story times. You don't have to pay for these classes 9 out of 10 times. You can book them on Hoop for free. From baby sensory. We've done a ton of fitness classes with your baby when they're littler. There's loads of stuff that you can do, and if you're just at a loose end, hop on Hoop in the morning and there will be a literal list of about 20 to 30 different things that you can just jump on that day. A lot of classes also build in that networking time after the actual activity itself. You can stay for a coffee with other mums, get chatting, and it's a great way to meet new friends. The next tip I would give you is to use the time wisely. Until your baby is of crawling / walking age, you've got a pretty mobile friend to take with you. Like, They will sit in a pram quite happily and you can just take them with you with whatever activity you want to do. For me, it was about fitness. So I have always been into fitness, but I've always had a full-time job. What I wanted to do was kind of, one, get my body back and feel like me again, but also kind of see what would happen if I exercised 5 days a week, which I'd never really had the time to do. So I started off doing home workouts in my living room, 30 minutes a day, with YouTube videos and a little simple set of weights that I bought from Aldi, a yoga mat that I'd bought from Aldi years ago. And then what I started to do was join classes where you could take your baby with you. So I went to a class called MumFit, which is local to our area, and had a trainer called Charlie. She was incredible. You would go and do an hour-long class. The babies would lie on mats at the front of the class with sort of like activity centres over them or with toys all around them. It was really flexible. If your baby started to cry, you could go and soothe them and make sure they were okay. So it was a really, really lovely way to get fit. I also went to CrossFit mums and dads in our local CrossFit. I don't know if all CrossFits do that, but there's a ton of different ones online. Exercise is always a good thing in terms of endorphins and keeping yourself positive. So use your time wisely, pick your goals. If it's a photography course that you want to do, if you want to learn to sew, if you want to learn to knit, there's a ton of time before that 6 months mark where they are asleep and you can get stuff done that you want to achieve and not just spend the whole time cleaning your house. My next tip is kind of ironic considering I'm currently in pyjamas, but it is to get up and get dressed every single day. That is really important to me. And by all means, if your baby is ill, if you're ill, if you're in the first 6 weeks, if you're in that mist and myrrh, pull up the drawbridge, stay in and just enjoy your newborn baby. But as time goes on and you're craving that structure more and more, getting up and getting dressed every day is something that has helped me massively. My most important tip is to have a routine. So like I said, once you get past that 6-8 week mark and your baby is less of a newborn, routine was massive for me. So at the moment I know that Finn is going to have a nap about 2 hours after he initially wakes up. He gets up and has his breakfast, we get him dressed, he has a nap, and during that time I get dressed. I film a video, I do my makeup, I scout around the house and do a quick clean. Then after that point I know that I've got a good solid 4 hours where he is going to be awake, so I make sure that we go out in that period every day to burn some energy off, to go to the park, to run errands, whatever we need to do I can do in that solid block during the day. And then in the afternoon between about 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock he's going to go down for another hour nap. So that gives me an hour to do some work, to clean the house, to make an appointment, to do whatever I need to do. I know that those hours in the day are going to be mine, unless of course he's teething or he's going through a leap and he's finding it difficult, but 9 out of 10 times he will stick to that routine. My final tip is to still retain something that is a part of you. So for me, starting this YouTube channel was huge in that it gave me a creative outlet. I'm an incredibly creative person, I always have been, so starting the blog and starting the blog documenting this process was so important to me. Every time I upload on a Sunday, I feel like I've achieved something with my week, and I love looking back on these vlogs and seeing what Finn was like when he was a couple of weeks old, what our routine was, what we were doing then, and having that video evidence of that. So find the thing that makes you you and continue to do it even throughout your maternity leave, because losing that part of you is a bigger deal than you think. So that's it guys, I hope this really helps. Please comment down below if you're struggling on maternity leave and you need someone to talk to. It is an incredibly special time. I'm not saying don't sit there and smell your baby's head for an hour, because that is the most wonderful thing in the world, but just for your own peace of mind, if you are feeling down and like you are feeling bored, I hope these tips are practical and help you feel a little bit better. Thank you for watching and I will see you next week. Bye.